Of wellness because I love it. So, I hope you're so well wherever you are. I am, as you're watching this, I am pre recording this. And in this right now, I mean, although I'm here right now, but when you're right now is this right now, I'm going to be in, or I am, in Costa Rica. So, thanks for checking this out. I appreciate it. Leave comments so I can go back and check it out. I'd appreciate it. I can see how y'all are doing and everything. Um, so I every time I record, I wasn't expecting to burp just then, but I feel a yawn. Why? Every time. I'm not even tired. It's kind of great. Anyway, frustration. Ugh. I'm not really that frustrated at all. Anyway, so the spiritual dimension of wellness. So I want to talk about something that I hope is of service and I hope it's inspiring. And it's something that I think many of us put on the very back burner of our spiritual path. And I feel in most religions, it's not talked about. I feel in many indigenous practices, it is expressed more, it is more common. And I feel like in most religions and religiosity with dogmatic beliefs of, like, so the judgment stuff, right? The like, well, this is right. That's wrong. Don't do that. Got to be this way to be right to get into the heaven. Um, I feel like that a lot of religions don't talk about it, they don't apply it, they don't embody it. And I know it's not true for all of them. I know that. I'm speaking like on a very general basis. And it's joy. It's about joy. When I think about the way I was raised in the Catholic church, tell you what, the last thing that was fun. That was the furthest thing from my mind when I ever went to mass was, wow, this is so fun. This is so lighthearted. God, I'm smiling so much. This is so I feel so much joy. I never had that experience. So if you ever grew up in the Catholic tradition, I'm curious if you ever felt that when you went to church. I have talked to some people who in their church they sing and there's praise and there's connection, community, fellowship, and joy and laughter, and like that's a part of their services. But that's not very common. It's really not. And when I think about, I see a cardinal right now, and it's a lady cardinal, and it's like right outside the window. Conversation whiplash. I know. But I like it. It's like trying to get the twigs off of the plant as opposed to getting the twigs that are just like stuck. It's actually trying to break them off, I'm guessing to make a nest of some sort. And I'm like, the yard. And yeah, so anyway, so that brings me joy. I love watching nature. Seriously though, it's like trying to get it and it's like I can't. And it's looking in here. And it's a lady cardinal, so it's not the brightest red. But the beak is like in contrast, so neon orange. It's so cool. It did get a branch. It's getting ready to try to fly out now. Anyway, okay, let's go back to joy, shall we? So, this joy business, when I think about spirituality and joy, because I see everything through this like quantum lens, through this physics lens, through the lens of energy and all of that stuff. And when I think about joy, it's a high frequency. When I think of the frequency of peace, it feels calm, right? It's like I feel peaceful. When I feel loving, it feels like this, right? To me, I'm not saying right to you, but like, to me, it feels like this. When I feel joy, it feels like this. It's like it's bigger, it's taller, it's more expressive, it's more multi-directional. It's just it has this like bubbliness to it, this effervescence. It has a projection, it has an expression. Like have you ever felt so much joy and you try to hold it in? Like how can you? You light up, right? I am so not tired. I only do this when I record for this. I don't even understand it. Thanks for your grace, y'all. Anyway, this joy like beams out of us, right? Like, oh, and I'm like, that is a high frequency. Like that is like source kind of stuff. That's like, but when I think about teachings of like Jesus or God, um, or the goddess, or Shiva, or Shakti, or Brahma, or um Buddha, although there are images of Buddha that's like laughing, he's got his big belly, right? When you look at a lot of the Buddhist, like if you look at Buddhists, they're very zen. But they're funny. They feel they seem to me like they understand the comedy of life itself. And when I think about joy, I'm like, man, not a lot of people express it. They don't. They watch something funny on a screen and then they chuckle, they laugh, or they drink so that they can loosen up, so that they can laugh. But like, when was the last time you were just laughing so hard that you were just like making the ugly face? Maybe you were crying, you were laughing so hard. The laughter where like your stomach maybe hurts, or you just like exhaling so much that you're like, like the silent kind of a laugh. And like, that that is a very childlike expression. That childlike expression to me is us at our core. It's our lightest aspect. It's this pure part of us that's joyful and brilliant and vulnerable and like just out there, like full force. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say. I don't care if people think I look like a total goober right now, but I'm having a fun time. And I see so many people on this earth plane who won't dance. This one, I see this so much, y'all. I know so many humans in bodies that are capable of moving that are afraid to dance because they're afraid that they're going to be judged, looked at. They might be dancing in a way that doesn't look right. I don't know, like whatever their beliefs are, and then they don't dance. My father, he used to love to dance apparently. And then he married a beautiful woman that I love so much, and she doesn't dance. Okay. So my dad stopped dancing. And I'm like, what are you doing? I don't understand. And she doesn't dance, and I guess I'm telling her story. She doesn't dance because she's not confident. She's not confident enough to do that. And he's not confident enough to, I guess, do it without her. I don't know. I don't know their story that much. But I'm like, to hold back, to compartmentalize, to restrain this joy that we are, this freedom of expressing joy, this lighthearted nature of ourselves, to hold that back to me is a complete disservice to humanity. It's literally being frozen in fear to feel or express joy. And I understand for some of us, when we've experienced joy before, it turned into a pain, right? Like maybe you were laughing and you're having a good time and someone came in and punished you because you were being too loud and disruptive, right? So there are some of us humans that were punished for experiencing and expressing joy. So I understand that there's like potential trauma wrapped around the complete expression of joy. And I don't know about y'all, but I am ready to see it in this earth plane. I feel a lot of joy in my life. I laugh at a lot of shit. Find everything just really comical because I have a deep understanding that this whole experience called life is completely temporary in this form. We're eternal. You can't make that up. Like, we literally are living in a polarity, in duality, in opposition, in the light, the dark, the up, the down, the left, the right, the hot, the cold, the sun, the dark. Like, we're literally living in opposites. So we can't be just in one without even acknowledging that the other is there and valid. And how we come into balance with it, that's the journey. Healing the stuff so we're not two in one or two in the other. But to completely negate the joy experience, the joy frequency, it just sucks for me. Like, it just sucks for me. Because I don't know about y'all, but like, I want to see people laughing. And not because they're making fun of someone, you know. I've been to a few comedy shows in my life. And some are really funny. And I've been to some where people that are on the stage are just continually making fun of someone else, another group of people. And that doesn't feel good to me. I've seen some comedians that are so just self-deprecating. They just beat themselves up. They make fun of themselves so much. That doesn't feel good to me. Because I can feel that that's just some unhealed shit that they're holding judgment and trying to make it funny because they don't know how to heal it. That's my opinion. It's interesting because I feel like the funniest people are the ones who've had the most sadness and sorrow and grief in their life. And I can attest to that. I've experienced a lot of sadness and depression and suicidal stuff and anger and just sadness and loss and grief. I said sadness twice. But like, I'm grateful for that because then I can feel the humor of this life experience and rejoice that it is only temporary and also rejoice that it is also forever. But I can laugh at the whole thing. And that's my invitation because I don't know any spiritual studies that really talk about the medicine of joy. I mean, there are some like spiritual texts about joy. I get it, but just like on the for real, it's okay to be happy. So many of us have spent so much of our life feeling bad, feeling miserable, feeling unwell that we don't know what it's like to feel good. And if you've ever gotten attention because you've been sick, right? You need support, you need help, you get that, you feel loved. Well, then if I feel good, then maybe I won't feel loved. So then I might be afraid to feel good, right? Well, if I feel good, no one will call me. If I feel good, no one will visit. If I feel good, no one will check in on me. If I feel good, no one's going to want to help me out. These are just beliefs, but I think that they're real beliefs for a lot of us. So that's like, how can we embrace feeling good? How can we embrace joy and laughter and lightheartedness? And like a case of the like, fuck it. Like, we go through this world experience once, and there's some big, like, tragic stuff happening on the earth plane here in the United States. It's been happening for a long time. It's just getting more publicized. Okay. But we can still be in joy and experience the sadness. We can still experience a lot of compassion and laugh at the challenges that we're moving through. The finding the joy in all of it, there's a willingness to that. You got to be willing to do that. There have been times I remember being a kid and even as an adult where, I was grumbly, right? I was mad about something, I don't know. And someone would say something funny to try to like cheer me up or get me out of it. Oh, and I would just, I'm not going to laugh at that. You can't make me laugh. You can't make me feel good. And I would be in so much resistance to it. So much resistance to it. Like, no, I refuse that joy. I'll show you. I'll show you how miserable I can be. We do that shit, yo. We do that shit. And that's just silly. That's silly. Like, we laugh that we do that. That we get so, like, resistant to feeling joy and smiling. That we would rather hold on to a label of misery We would rather hold on to the label of unhappy and unwell. We can still be unhappy, we can still be unwell, and we can still feel joy or humor at the whole thing. That's the choice. So I share this because to me it's the closest to God, goddess, to the source, is when I'm in so much joy that I can't contain it, that tears come out. It happens when I'm around kids. It happens when I get to experience nature like that cardinal. Like that right there, like I feel honored, like so much joy in my heart that that bird chose to fly and land in that bush outside of that window that close to me so I could see it that close up. Because if I were sitting outside, it wouldn't have gotten that close to me. What a gift! That's such a gift. But it's my choice to see it that way, right? That's where free will comes in. And all this stuff is super solar plexus stuff. You know, in our energy body, in our physical body, our solar plexus is the will place. It's this drive, it's this fire energy, it's this personality, right? The way we show up, the way we present ourselves to the world. I see it as the center of joy. So if I'm unwilling to show myself having a personality of joy, that's a natural part of all of us. It's literally in our divine nature to be and feel and express joy. And we can do it in dark times. We can do it in hard times. We can do it when we're having challenges. It's allowed. We all now have permission. It's okay. We all have like permission slip to feel okay and to express joy when there's a whole lot of bad stuff going on. That we can do both. We don't have to bypass the bad stuff. We can acknowledge it. We can work through it. We can create new ways of being. We can create solutions. We can come together and form community gardens and really support each other on this earth plane. We can do all that. And we can whistle while we work, right? We can dance, we can sing, we can joke, we can find the beauty and the joy and the light in anything. And I share this because these to me are true teachings. I don't see them very often. Or I see them, there's this church, and I won't call it out, but it's like a mega church. It's one of those like evangelical like mega church where the preacher dude, this is him talking in a microphone, um is, he's broadcast around all these satellite locations on these big screens, and you have to show your like W-2 to like be a member so that they know how much you can tithe, and the whole platform. Someone had given a book to me that he had written, and I read most of it and I had to put it down because it was so not in alignment for me. But this dude, like the main character of this church, the platform that he stands on is that you can get close to God, and you can do that by monetary success in the material world like me. Look how much godlike of a human I am. You can be like me. Of how you do that, you give me money. You tithe 30% of your yearly income, right? And then you'll be happy. You give me money, and then you'll get money, and then you'll be happy. That's the teachings of this mega church. And I sit with that and I go, well, that's kind of bullshit to me. Because there is no way that happiness comes from the material world. Now, granted, this cup of water, material. I get happy because I have it and I can drink it. Grateful. I'm not saying that having a roof over my head and a car and gas in the car and all these things in the material world increase my happiness. But I'll be damned if my happiness is dependent on anything outside of myself, because happiness and joy is an internal job. It's a choice. It's a part of our true divine nature. So the teachings that are around us that are, you can be happy when you forgive, whatever, when you buy this house, when you have this job. These teachings in our society are bullshit. If we wait to be happy until we have the kid, if we wait to be happy until we retire, if we wait to be happy until, you might die before that. And then that means that you lived your whole damn life waiting to be happy based on something outside of yourself when the whole time you could have chosen it, you could have been willing to express it, to tap into it, to explore it, to discover it, to reclaim it, to remember it, whatever. I get a little feisty about joy because I've had a lot of anger in my life and I've expressed a lot of anger. And on the other side of anger in this energy world is the expression of joy. So I express it really big and I get fired up about it. Not in anger, but like I get like a lot of fire energy around joy because it keeps us warm, you know? It bends time. You know, when you're having just such a great day and you're so present because you're just filled with the feeling of joy, and it's like you don't ever want that to end. You're comfortable. You don't feel pain. Joy can carry us through a lot. Joy can carry us through hard times. Joy can carry us through death and grief. Joy can carry us through confusion when we're seeking clarity. The mind doesn't offer us these things. Joy is what does, right? It's like if you're seeking clarity on what do I do with my life? I don't know what to do. You can go in your mind all day. You can make a list of pros and cons. You can do all that all day, all day, all day, for days and days and days forever. Or you can go take a walk, hang out with some friends, laugh your face off, and then come back to the problem at hand. The chances of actually experiencing, receiving whatever clarity is far greater because you got yourself out of the mindset, I gotta fix a thing, or I can't be happy, or I'm miserable, or like whatever the focus is. And let the mind kind of be on the shelf and have the whole full body, mind, spirit experience of joy. Hey! It changes our frequency, it changes our resonance, it changes our entire energetic field, it expands our spirit. So then when we go back to the thing that we just put on the shelf, we're like, oh, I see it so much clearer. I see it from a whole new lens. That is so, it's like medicine. Have you ever been around someone that's joyful? God, they feel so good to be around, right? It sucks to be around people that are grumble butts. Ugh, I've been a grumble butt. I don't even know how I still have friends. Thank you all so much. And I feel real good now, like a lot of the time. And even when I am experiencing anger, I still laugh that I'm experiencing anger because I think it's funny. I find a lot of stuff funny. But some people think that maybe what I find funny is inappropriate. Well, then don't find it funny if it's not appropriate for you. Right? But like being around people that are joyful, when they walk in a room, you feel it. You want to be around them, right? They emanate, they glow, they radiate source energy. They radiate a lightness to them. Doesn't matter what age of a body you're in, because it's all within and it just glows out of us. So, my invitation is to just allow yourself to feel joy more often. Give yourself permission. Hey, you know what, self? This is what you can say to yourself if you want. Hey, you know what, self? I want to. I'm willing to experience more joy in my life. I'm willing to show up in more joy. I'm willing to try it. I'm curious to see how much joy I can actually feel in a day. No attachments, but the invitation is to be curious about it, be open to it, and give yourself permission. That starts to open the gates so that you've kind of told yourself and your nervous system like it's safe, it's a choice. You know, maybe that's something that you could say to yourself as a mantra on repeat, right? Like it's safe to feel joy. It's safe to laugh. It's safe to express myself. You know, these are things that when you tell yourself that, especially out loud, it changes the way the brain works. so that the brain doesn't go, that's not funny, don't say that, now they're going to look at you. Kind of shuts the brain up a little bit because the brain's a little bit wackadoodle sometimes, right? It just keeps going. It's just the thinker. The brain is just the thinker. It's a beautiful thinker. I love the thinker. It's a memory holder. It's a storage box. It's a filing cabinet. And it's here to serve the heart. And the heart can be joyful. Promise. So that's the invitation. So if you want to leave some comments on like how you can experience more joy, like what would that look like in your world to experience more joy? Like how would it feel to walk in a room and everyone looks at you and they smile because they feel you in your presence, the presence of the divine, joyful energy that you are. Like, what would that feel like? What would that feel like for you to walk in a room and see someone and feel their joy? You know what that does? It opens up you to feel safe that you can also. Because we match people. That's what we do. This is interesting, and then I'll end. We match people. If someone's grumbling, they're complaining about the weather. What do? Most of the time, we do the same thing. We join them, we parrot them, we mimic them. We go, yeah, this weather does suck. Yeah, it is cold. Yeah, I am. I hate it too. Because we don't want to fight, right? So if someone's complaining about the weather and you don't care, you find it funny that it's raining for the 50,000th day in a row. Because at this point, you can't control it, or you love it when it rains. You love it when it's hot and someone's like, oh my God, I hate it. It's so hot. I'm sweating. And you're like, I love that I can sweat. This is dope. I love it. Like being able to stand in your truth of the joy that you are in holds the space for others to feel joy, or at least to see the possibility of it in spaces that maybe they didn't see it before. So in this example, if someone's complaining about the weather, complaining about life, complaining about the Ukraine, complaining about how the money's being spent to go send to a war, that they're running out. They keep running out of all the stuff that we're paying for. Meanwhile, back at the ranch in the United States, we have brothers and sisters that don't have a home, don't have food, and we don't have clean water. What? But we can talk about these things and say, you know what? So you're mad that they're sending money to the Ukraine. Well, they're going to spend it somewhere. Like, my point is that, and not to minimize anyone's thoughts and feelings. Like, I get it. We all have thoughts and feelings. Like, I don't want to tell somebody that, like, I believe that the earth is precious. And someone's like, whatever, it's just a stupid piece of dirt. I really wouldn't care. But you know what I mean. Anyway, coming back to tie that up. The invitation is to allow yourself to find and be the joy wherever you go, as much as humanly possible, because it's going to hold the space so that others might see it, sense it, and feel it for the first time, and it might inspire them or offer them a little cone of safety so that they feel that they can also. So literally, you could like be spreading joy like little fairy dust everywhere, but out of you and your light and your smiles and your just exuberance that you get to live this life. You get to live life, y'all. You get to live life. We get to live life. We're not going to live life with this awareness in this body forever. We might get another body. We may become formless. We may turn into an animal. We may turn into a rock. I don't even know. But we're here right now in this body. And that part is finite. It's not forever. The energy of our soul, our spirit, that's eternal. Don't worry, I'll see you on the other side. But until then, like, can we enjoy the ride? Can we inspire it in others? Can we stop being judgy? Can we stop holding resentment and and grudges? Can we stop being greedy? Can we stop doing harm? Can we just for once as a collective look at our brothers and sisters and go, you know what? You're doing this earth journey too, aren't you? Yeah, okay. You want to laugh together? You want to play? Want to take it easy? Want to go for a walk? Want to just be together? Share time? Want to hold hands? That's what we're here for. We're here to be together and to be in joy. So that's my spiritual rant. I'm not an evangelical, and I'm not going to make you tithe 30% of your income to me. But if you don't want to be a member on my Patreon and support me, you can. You go to patreon.com/Jane the Guide. I believe that's it. You can just search Jane the Guide on Patreon, Patreon, and you can subscribe and support me in the mission and vision of love and joy on this earth plane. Ooh, look at that. Anyway, I love y'all. I have so much joy that you're on this earth plane and earth journey with me. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Know how loved you are. You're radiant. You are divine. You are perfect. And I'll see you soon.